With the draft fast approaching, we're gonna talk receivers, guys. Of course, there's my top 8, and we're gonna talk about the giveaway here coming right out.
Renegade.
Hey guys, my name is Sonny. Welcome to szg Sports. If this is your first time here on the channel, please hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you can stay on top of every time I upload a video or I do a live, which I tend to do more lately. So we hit the 250, guys. We hit the 250 subscribers. So it's giveaway time. So giveaway, we're talking about draft today, right? And I was like, what should I do? Giveaway. I usually do a merch, something from the merch. And if you want to support this channel, as I'm not monetized, you can check the merch out below. But I was like, no, it's draft time. And then I see the sweet hats that Fanatics and NFL.com or NFL Shop is putting out. So I was like, let's do one of those. Why not, right? So this is the rules. You have to be a subscriber. You have to put a comment in this link, or not this link, on the section below, on the comment section. Give me your opinion. Give me your top 8 receivers. Tell me if I was right, if I was wrong, if you will reorder them, if I left somebody behind, if you have any notable mentions, whatever. Just give me comment down below. And Wednesday we're gonna pick one. Now, it's a caveat. It has to be in the U.S. It has to be in the 50 states. But that was not the caveat. If we happen to hit 350 by Wednesday, I'll give up two hats of the Fanatics. That's it, guys. So let's talk about the receiver. So love this receiving corp. I love it. I'm very excited. If you've been following me, you know that I want 2, maybe 3 receivers in this draft. 2 early, 1 in the later part of the draft. So I'm going to start with 2 notable mentions, and then we're going to go to my top 8. So 2 notable mentions. If you check my latest mock draft, and I'll put a link in the description below, you will see that was the second pick? Yeah, I think it was the second pick that I made for the Ravens. I picked Riley Ridley. So that's one of my notable mention. Riley Ridley, a guy that it has a lot of talent. It has a lot of, he's savvy. He can catch the ball. He can route run. He's not the most explosive guy. He played faster than what he ran. But a guy that can definitely be a playmaker for the Ravens. He can play outside, and in that video, I had Hakeem Butler, or not a video. Well, I also made a video, but in the draft, I had Hakeem Butler, and really, Hakeem Butler is a more speedy, a bigger guy, but Riley can play well. Second notable mention is a guy that my boy Cravens and Raven sent me via IG. And guys, anytime you want me to check a player, send it through IG or Twitter, and I'll get you back. I usually tell you like, hey, I got it, and then it takes me a couple of days between, so I don't just go watch some highlights. I go check some video. I check against how he did against a couple different teams, and then I'll get back to you. And sometimes I put in the video like this one. So Anthony Ratliff Williams, dude is legit. His numbers wasn't great with North Carolina. But if you watch him play, one thing that I love, if you follow the best podcast available, the Cover 6 and now Nuevo Football podcast that I'm part of, you will see that I hate when players let the ball come to their numbers, come to the chest, and they don't catch it with the hands. This dude usually goes and gets it with his hands, grasps the ball, squeeze that ball. He plays hard. A guy that once he has the ball, dude is feisty. He fights for every yard. Those yak yards are impressive. I like the dude a lot. If he's there in that middle rounds, I can see him being that third receiver that we pick, and that would be a hell of a receiver that we pick. So go check him out if you haven't read. Again, I didn't know anything about it until Cravens and Ravens sent it to me. Anthony Ratliff Williams. Check him out. So now my top 8. This is my top 8. This doesn't mean that it can change. Well, usually my top has been set pretty much for a while now, but that, 7, 8, I can change those. And as I get more and more players that I maybe haven't reviewed, I can definitely change, or if things happen, right? So let's go with number 8. And this is somebody that I reviewed maybe 3 months ago. Somebody sent it to me, maybe in IG. I forgot who it was, so whoever it is, shout out to you. I just can't remember the person that did it. But since I watched the tape, I was like, this dude is legit. And I like him better than his teammate. And me and Noob talk about this in the last podcast. It is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, a guy that can run routes. He's fast. Open field, he's dangerous. So, if you think about it, in our offense, they're going to stack that box on a pass situation. Lamar can just fake it like he's going to run. That's going to even, those safeties, those linebackers are going to cheat so bad. If you got a guy like Terry McLaurin that you can dump in a dragger, right, or a screen, those corners are probably playing very off them, right, because they're not expecting, they don't want to get burned. They don't want to get burned. They're hoping that ball comes fast and they're going to react. So a screen, and then now one-on-one, a guy that can make the other guy miss. Good hands. He's a smaller frame guy, but definitely fast. Can make plays. I like him a lot. He is my number 8. A lot of people talk about Campbell. I like him more. I like Terry more. I think he can be a more productive player. All these players depend on the system that they end up. But I do think he's going to be a better player, in my opinion. Then I had Kevin Harmon. Kevin Harmon, physical player. I love his hands. And all these players will have drops. You can find videos where they have drops, and you're like, oh, but this player dropped here, dropped there, blah, blah, blah. They're all going to have drops. But for the most part, I like his hands. I like his play. He is big. Like he's tough. He looks big. He's a big boy. Physical. But I was expecting to see more physicality out of him. He is a guy that gets to 50-50 balls. If you see NC State, the quarterback will just throw it, and he will fight and get that ball. Now, what I didn't see much from him was those yak yards. And that's something that I'm looking a lot. And this is why one of the reasons I don't have him more higher. But those yak yards weren't there. I was like, where are the yak yards? It's something I want to see. It's something that in our offense, we're going to benefit a lot for a guy that can get yak yards. Meaning that if it is because there's everything is stacked and you're one-on-one, I want you to get maybe a 10-yard pass, but then make a player miss. Stiff arm a player. Go give me that 10-yard completion, make it a 20, 25. I didn't see that from Harmon on a consistent basis. So, not a bad player, and if we get him, let's say we trade back and we get him in the second round, I'll be ecstatic. Terry McLaurin, I think, is more of a third round, maybe late second round. I think he's more of a third round, and for me, Campbell, he is a third round. And I know a lot of people are talking about having him in the first round. I don't like that. If the Ravens draft him in the first round, I'm not going to be a happy camper. I'll prefer, if we get him in the later rounds, that's fine. For Campbell, mid-second, third round, that's fine. But first round, Let's talk about number 6. We're going Hollywood with number 6. Hollywood Brown. And a lot of people have him higher. And I think this is not a knock on him. The thing with Hollywood Brown is this list is also tailored for our team, right? So Hollywood is a guy that needs a very accurate quarterback that can throw deep. And if he has that, he can be dangerous, like Deshaun Jackson has been throughout his career. When a quarterback can get him a ball deep, they're dangerous. They can make people miss. So Hollywood can make people miss. He's really good in the deep routes, but being a smaller frame, he got some injuries against tough competition. Alabama, he didn't show up. He did have some drops. Physicality is not there. He's not gonna be your blocker. He's not gonna run block for you. If you need 50-50 balls, he's not going to be that guy. In my opinion, he needs a very accurate quarterback. He cannot adjust as well as other players. And yes, you will find highlights that he will adjust maybe in one, but in a consistent basis. But overall, he's a good player. I'm not trying to knock him down. He is a good player. Like I said, If you check his numbers in college, his numbers are up to chart because, like Deshaun Jackson, he will have a lot of big plays. And playing in the Pac-12, which is a little bit softer on defense, especially in that secondary, if he can burn that corner, then what is it? Every play he can be making like a 20-yard completion, and at the end of the game he has 100 plus for the year. Let's say he's averaging 100 plus, then you see those big numbers, and you see a lot of touchdown production, but it doesn't come from the red zone necessarily, right? So again, Hollywood Brown, he's my 6th guy. I'm not talking that he's horrible. He's my 6th guy. Would I take him with the Ravens for the first pick? If he's in the mid-second, maybe. It's one of those cases that, like Harmon, if we drop back, and we drop back enough that we lost on the top 4, then yes, I'll take him. Okay, so number 5, I have Deebo. I have Deebo Samuels. Deebo Samuels is a really good player, really tough player. I love his route running ability, which is not great throughout, which is normal for rookies, not having the best route running ability, but dude can play. In South Carolina, he was good. He played hard. Like I said, good route running ability. I saw some yak for him. He's not a burner. He doesn't like overwhelm you with that speed, with burning you, down the field, which is fine. I don't need a burner for every position. But for the Ravens, we talk about Andrews and Snead of finding that soft spot in the zone. But I'm not saying he has to play the slot and then to find that soft zone all the time. But with his route running ability, and it's not great, it's really good but not great, he still can develop even more. He will find separation, and once he finds separation, he can make the play, and then he can make people miss. I like Deebo a lot. In my latest mock draft, I had him in the 2nd round to the Steelers. I think the Steelers can be a team that looks for a guy like Deebo. He has some Antonio Brown qualities to him. I'm not saying he's Antonio Brown. Like I said in the podcast, I don't think Antonio Brown was Antonio Brown when he came out of the draft. He worked hard in his craft, and Deebo, if he works hard in his craft, he can be dangerous. All these guys, if they work hard in their craft, they can be dangerous. Okay, my number 4, and number 4 and number 3 for me are basically a tied. But I'm going to talk about number 4 first and then 3. But like I said, I can interchange. If you tell me my number first and number 3, and my 3 is your 4, that's fine. Because for me, in any given moment, they're like a coin flip. Who's 4 and 3, right? For number 4, DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf. Would I get him at 22? I'll be okay if we get him at 22. If we can get him early in the 2nd, sure. Later in the 1st, of course. DK Metcalf is a guy that has so much potential. His upside is up the chain. It's insane. He can be a Calvin Johnson. He can be a T.O. He's a burner. He's aggressive. He can get that 50-50 ball. Route running, he needs to work on. He needs to work on sinking and cutting. He doesn't do that well. But, those are things he can work on. But his body type, his athleticism, that's God-given. You can't coach that. He is blessed with his physique. Dude is impressive. Dude is amazing. He looks like a Hulk. He's tall. Can the Ravens benefit for having him? Yes. The biggest problem that I have with DK, which is the problem that every time somebody asks me that I keep mentioning, is it's injuries. His injury history is the biggest problem with me. Drafting him early, drafting him with your 1st round pick, and having a guy that can't play, he ain't good. I think who was somebody that is really true? Williams from the Chargers. Every time he touches the field, when he's in the field, he's good. But they barely see him. That's why he hasn't put bigger numbers. And that's not good. We need somebody that can be there, that can be an enforcer, that can be great, that can grow with Lamar, right? So, DK is my number 4. Love DK. It's not that I'm trying to bang on DK. If we get him, I'm going to be ecstatic. I said if we get a first round receiver or the first receiver we get, if it's one of my top 4, I'm going to try to get that jersey. And as soon as they announce the number, I'm going to try to get that jersey. So number 3, and this is for you, Nubo. Choo choo. Hakeem the Train Butler. And we're calling Hakeem the Train now because, I mean, that's all I see. People put the little emoji trains. Nubo has everybody in this hype. I can see Hakeem be my number 4th and DK 3rd. Hakeem has... Both of them have basically the same ceiling, in my opinion. If DK wasn't as injury prone so far as he has been, I would have him 3rd. I might have him 2nd. But because of his injuries, he's there with Hakeem. Hakeem is a little raw. But Hakeem, again, his physique is amazing. He's strong. He can run block. He's not best. His best trait is not route running ability like Metcalf, but he is aggressive. And Hakeem didn't have the best quarterback to show his talents. But even with that, you can see why people like, and you can see why Mr. Joe Nubo likes him. And that's okay. He is good. He can be an elite. He can be a wide receiver 1 in this league. He can definitely be. Now, DK Metcalf has a lot of every receiver that I'm gonna talk, except for one, and I'm gonna mention which one that is, has bust potential. All of them. I mean, they're rookies. DK, his bust potential, in my opinion, is on health. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be great. I think he can work on that cutting, and he can work on that route running ability, and then he can be unstoppable. Hakeem Butler has bust potential, but not because of injuries. If he doesn't learn how to route run, if he just utilizes his body only, he, in my opinion, has good hands, not great hands. Against good corners, he's going to struggle. So, Hakeem Butler, not trying to break anybody's bubble, because I know how all you love some Butler. But, Hakeem is good and could be great. Hopefully, with the new wide receiver coach that we have, whoever the receivers that we get, we can coach him for them to be great. So Hakeem, I can see him. And in my latest mock draft, I have us taking Hakeem in the 2nd round. If you go see it, I have us trading back twice, grabbing Hakeem Butler. And if we get Butler, I'm going to be excited as well. He is in my top 4. Anybody on my top 4 that we get, I'm buying their jersey. Plain and simple. Love those 4. Number 2. So Hakeem was 3rd, right? And like I said, 3 or 4 DK or Hakeem, interchangeable for me. Number 2. The only receiver, in my opinion, that has no bust potential. AJ Brown. AJ Brown, route running, great. Hands, great. Separation, great. He's fast. Yes, he is. It's not because he cannot play outside, but when I see him line outside, he's really good. The only problem that I see is his lack of production in the red zone. He's not as tall as the other 2. I think he's 6'1". Maybe he's 6'2". But his lack of production in the red zone, that worries me a little bit. But overall, this dude has yak yard ability. This dude has great route running abilities. So you play him a little bit, off the receiver. You're loading that box against Lamar. Double move. He sells it beautifully. And then he can go. Lamar has an easy completion for a touchdown. This dude can play. His catch radius is not as good as Hakeem, which is a monster, and DK, which is a monster. But he's still good. So he's on the smaller side, but a great player. Again, his floor is higher than anybody else's floor. His ceiling might not be as high as other receivers like DK and Butler. But right now, if you tell me who's better, AJ is better than both. AJ is better than my number 1. He is. So right now, AJ is also a guy that in the run blocking, I can see him blocking. He's a tough guy. This dude is a competitor. This dude, there's no question he's a competitor. So I would love if the Ravens get him at 22 later in the first or early in the second. So my number one receiver. You should know this by now if you follow me. The guy that I love the most for this draft is N'Keal Harry, Arizona State. I predicted this pick in my first mock draft at 22. I don't know if he's going to be a Raven. In my mock draft, my latest one, my 5.0, we traded back twice and the Colts snatched him at 27, I believe it was. So, I mean, I was trying to be honest, although I wanted to make us draft him, but it is what it is. N'Keal. Why I think he's so good for this team. His route running really is not great. Separation is okay, not elite, but it's good. He can block in the run game, which is critical for us, especially if you want to be on the field, right? Because now, if you draft N'Keal and you see him there, you don't have to think they're gonna be passing plays, because you can light him up and he can block, and you can run to his side and he's still gonna block. So that's great. His catching radius and adjustment is top notch, and this is why I love N'Keal. Think about it in the red zone. Think about it if Lamar throws an inaccurate pass, he can adjust. He's tall, he's lengthy, he's athletic. In the red zone, I think this is the perfect receiver for Lamar Jackson. Perfect receiver. And once he gets the ball, the yak yardage, the ability to stiff arm, to move, that vision. N'Keal is a great receiver, and he's my number one. So let's recap. 8, Terry McLaurin. 7, Kevin Harmon. 6, Hollywood Brown. 5, Deebo Samuel. 4 or 3, DK Metcalf. And the other guy, Hakeem the Train Butler. Number 2, the guy that has the highest floor, AJ Brown. And by the way, when I say the highest floor, at worst, he's a receiver 3 right now in the NFL. Meaning, if he doesn't improve anything, in my opinion, he's already a wide receiver 3 or 2. I think that he's that good. Number 1, N'Keal Harry. And we need to put N'Keal the Jet Harry since Nubo's riding his train. But it's not gonna be those 787 Max 8. N'Keal is gonna land in Baltimore. It's gonna kill it. So those are my top 8, guys. Remember, if you wanna be part of the giveaway of the NFL hat, which is gonna be the draft version, the one that the Ravens are gonna give to whoever we draft, go like this video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe and put a comment down below. And Wednesday, I'm gonna announce on Twitter around one time, but Wednesday probably at 8, I'm gonna pick a random guy or girl. There's a website that I use to it goes through all the comments, check if it is a subscriber, and picks one of the comments, and I'll hit you back up. And I already done it twice with people. This will be my 3rd one, but this, I think, is a pretty cool one. Like I said also, if we get to 350, I'm gonna do 2 of them. So share this channel, please. And yeah, we'll see. If you like this video, guys, give it a thumbs up. Again, subscribe to the channel. And follow me on IG, Twitter, Facebook at szg.sports. And you can always hit me up with questions, guys. I will see you next time.